It is just about time for basketball at BYU as the Cougars return to practice in less than 2 weeks. Most of last year's team that won 30 games and made it to the big dance is back, and so is head coach Dave Rose. And we welcome Coach to True Blue. It's good to have you here.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Well, you geared up and ready to go?
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited for this year's team. We had a great off season. I think our guys have worked really hard. They've prepared themselves for what should be a great season for us.
As you look at the roster and see all the guys that are back, you go all the way to the bottom, and maybe the guy you're most happy to see back is you. It's been a different 17 months for you.
Yeah, well, I feel great, and I've been very, very fortunate, and I think that our players responded so well to the off season that we had a year ago when there was so much uncertainty about my health. But this year's been, a lot more just kind of normal, and I think that I've been really busy, been gone a lot, and been able to do quite a few things in the off season. But we're really excited about getting back and getting in that routine and practicing every day.
Not a lot of great things have happened to you in Las Vegas. Let's be honest. The Mountain West Conference Tournament Championship games at UNLV haven't gone BYU's way. But in June of 2009, you're going through Las Vegas, and this significant life-altering event happens, and you learn that you have pancreatic cancer. How did you find out?
Well, I was actually really fortunate because the people there in Vegas took really good care of me there at Spring Valley Hospital. And I had emergency surgery and had a tumor removed, part of my pancreas, my spleen. And then a couple days later, it was diagnosed that it was a pancreatic cancer, a very rare form, neuroendocrine tumor, which is a very manageable cancer. I flew from Las Vegas up to Huntsman Hospital up in Salt Lake, and there received my prognosis. And I've had a couple scans. I have a few more scans. I have another scan here before the season starts. But so far, it hasn't returned, and all of it's gone, and that's what we'll just keep hoping for.
When I heard the news that there was pancreatic cancer, I first thought of my father, who was diagnosed and given 12 months to live and didn't make it through 6 weeks. And so we'd gone through that and knew a little bit about it. I was relieved to find out that it was a different kind, but how scared were you when you just hear the word pancreatic?
Well, I think that, I've talked about this a lot, about how long the days are in the hospital when you're there trying to recover, and the nights are even longer. And those were the times when you start to think of, at least for me, I would start to think of the people that I've known throughout my life who had pancreatic cancer, and most of them are, have passed, and they haven't made it. And so when you think about that, and you think about how that's going to affect, your family, your children, your grandchildren, it's pretty sobering, pretty humbling thing. And I was just really, really fortunate that my prognosis was a little bit different. And when it comes to this time now, when I think back on that, I can't help but just think about all the people who did all the work years and years ago to try to, raise money, and the scientists and the doctors and the people who researched my cancer to the point where they were ready for me when it was my time, and hopefully that I can in some way help other people so that maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the road that we might be able to help someone else with some type of diagnosis.
Last week you were in Washington and you asked Congress for $1 billion. So I have two questions. One, what's it like to ask somebody for $1 billion? And then two, obviously $1 billion for cancer research, because that's where the cure lies.
Well, that was a little bit different. I think that they appropriated last year $34 billion, and this year we're asking for $35 billion. And when I was sitting in the room there, and there were 3 or 4 different volunteers, and one of the volunteers was kind of leading the discussion, and actually presented that to Senator Hatch. I said, wow, I've never even been in a meeting where you asked for $1 billion. I've raised a lot of money for all types of things, basketball, high school teams and AAU programs, and here at BYU and all kinds of places. But that's a pretty good ask right there for $1 billion. But I really do believe that that's what needs to happen for so many families. There's so many people in the United States that are diagnosed with this disease, And so many people are so much better off now
Right.
with the same diagnosis of maybe 20 years ago, because now they know how to handle it and to treat it, and hopefully that 20 years from now we'll be that much further along.
Going through that, whether it's a family member or yourself, can't help but change you in some way. What have you noticed that's different about Dave Rose?
Well, I think that everything's different. It's hard to explain how your whole life, your view on life changes when you're kind of faced with your own mortality. Then you realize that you've caught a break, and then you try to deal with, well, why was it me that caught a break, and maybe somebody else, they didn't receive the same prognosis that I did, and so that makes you feel extremely grateful every day. My job at sometimes seems to be a real grind. It no longer seems to be a grind. Seems like just a great opportunity. If we're disappointed with the day, it's still a great day. We look forward to maybe changing it tomorrow. And that hasn't always been the case with me. I could probably kind of get down on myself and get down on how things were going, and see how you can break out of it. It seems that we appreciate the good times and we appreciate the bad times.
When you think about all that you've gone through, and let's go way back to the University of Houston, where you're a member of the Five Slamma Jamma team that's playing in the national championship game against North Carolina State, and you're the shooting guard on that squad with Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler and a couple other guys we've heard of before, and now come to 2010 and you're gearing up for your 6th season as head coach at BYU. With all the things that have happened in between, would you have ever written that kind of a script for your movie?
Well, I've been very fortunate. Basketball has been part of my life, and what I'm really happy for is that my junior year, when I was on course to be a business major, and I thought that maybe, commuting from the suburbs of Houston into the city every day was going to be my livelihood, decided to make that change and decided to. I knew I wanted to be a coach, and just kind of had enough guts to actually go in, change my major, and decide that's what I wanted to do. I've had great opportunity to coach in high school, at the junior college level, and now at the Division I level, and I just really appreciate the players, the coaches that I've been able to coach with, and I look forward to every year. It's a great profession. My wife tells me sometimes that I'm kind of frozen in somewhere between that 18 and 23-year-old spot because that's what I deal with every year.
Right.
I've got the same age of players, but it's a fun time. We always got players getting engaged, always got players that are getting married, we got players that are coming off missions, we got players trying to prepare to go on missions, and I think that is something that's I've been really fortunate.
How has this last year and a half helped you be a better basketball coach as we get down to X's and O's for what we're going to see this winter?
Well, I think what it's done it's really helped me to be able to maybe be a little more even-keeled. One of the real tough things for me in the profession, my whole time I've been in it, is trying to deal with the disappointments of losses. And I think over the last 8 to 10 years, I've done a much better job of not thinking that everything's broke and we need to just start from scratch and fix it. But I really believe that, since my illness, that just my mental approach to being grateful for the opportunity that we get to play another game, and I think that's been something that has been consistent for our players. It's a real emotional game. The momentum of every game is the key to trying to win, and so there's going to be times when things are really, really good, but I think that's the easy time of the game. It's when things are really tough and you have challenges, and how you approach those things mentally and the attitude that you have towards it. I think those are things that have really helped me in the last 18 months or so.